Okay with me.
Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
Hello, Madhuri. I'm fine, and how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stephanie, first of all, I wanted to say thank you for showing up for this conversation. And at the same time, I want to assure you that this is a safe space. Feel free to share what you have. And at the same time, if you feel while our coaching conversation goes at any point, you don't feel comfortable answering to any question, you can let me know. While this conversation happens, I'll be making few notes which I'll discard by the end of the conversation. That is just for my observation to take the conversation ahead. I hope that's okay.
Okay, that's okay for me.
Does this space work for you, this speed?
Yes.
Okay, great. Great. Thank you, Stephanie. To begin with, Stephanie, what would you like to discuss today?
Okay, I would like to talk about me having not registered my client since 2020. I didn't really take notes and ask all the clients and just register so that I can count them in my PCC journey. So I'm ACC, it's now for 9 years or 10 years even, I think. But I would like to go ahead. But one thing would be to really count all of my clients and just to contact them and to reassure that everybody is really, in my Excel sheet, it's okay that everything is okay there. So I really would like to talk about that.
I understand you are on your PCC journey and you haven't maintained the log of the
Yes.
conversations that you had.
Yes,
Yeah,
for years now.
for years. Okay. Mhm.
Hmm.
And you want to explore how you would go back to them. How do you build up this log? Is that what you would like to address?
Yes, I would like to explore anything around that. What what can I yes, what can I do perhaps to come forward?
So, at the end of this conversation, Stephanie, uh, what would you like to carry away with you as we discuss?
I would like to have some more clarity about the situation,
Mhm.
and I would like to define a first step that I can do with joy and motivation.
Sure. So, if we have to look at your current situation and the first step that you have to take, uh, what is so meaningful for you as you explore the options and get clarity?
What is meaningful for me? I really like to do things with joy and motivation, you know. And when I open the log and right for now, I already opened it once and I registered the current clients. So this is great. So, but when I think about the last 4 years and thinking go back to these clients, there is an emotion that I really don't like.
Mhm.
And so I would really like to do this with joy. even if it's just step by step, but I would really like to do it joyfully. And the moment where I am, I often do not have a lot of energy. My health is not always the best. I'm not sick, but I'm 55 years old, so my energy is really sometimes lacking. So I don't want to do things by rush or I have to. I really want to have joy and feel at every step I do, okay, I did this great. And I go ahead, I want to cheer myself up.
You mentioned about you do not like in one particular emotion. Yeah. Would you like to explore this emotion? How you are feeling about when you are thinking about the 4 years coaching that you have done and you have not recorded?
I don't remember that I mentioned that I don't like that there is a particular emotion, but we can.
Would you like to explore that? What you are feeling?
Yes, we can do that.
Mm.
Yes, that's possible. Yes, I'm open to this.
Sure, sure. So when you're looking at what you're feeling inside, when you think about all the logs that you forgot or you did not have record of, how are you feeling inside?
The first thing that comes to my mind is disgusted.
Sorry, I missed that.
Disgusted.
Disgusting. Yes.
I feel disgusted. I am not very proud of myself.
Mm-hmm. And what brings that disgusting feeling to you?
I feel sad. I feel alone,
Mm-hmm.
overwhelmed. Yes.
And how is it affecting you?
How is it affecting me? I still feel alone and yes, there is something in my head that is telling me, but you should have, but why didn't you do? Why, why? Something like that. And I don't like it because it doesn't really bring me forward. It just makes me feel continuously stuck. Yes.
You just mentioned about you feeling stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you stuck?
Where I'm stuck?
Mm-hmm.
In some mud of
Sorry?
you in some mud of
Some mud.
you didn't do it, you are not really.
Yeah.
Yes, just why didn't you do it? Something like that.
Hmm. And what will make you come out of this mud?
Perhaps if I could grab some wood to walk on it.
Mm-hmm. And how this walk will happen?
How, what will happen?
Walk.
The walk.
Yeah.
First of all, I have to find the wood, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can just put it down in a place where it can have some base to put my first foot on it.
Mm-hmm.
And before I can really walk on the wood.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So how
Yes.
does this wood and walk show up for you as we look at your coaching log?
For the moment, I just see the mud. I don't really see the wood for the moment. What could be really be the wood for me? I think that's
Hmm.
the first thing to do. This. The mud is too big,
Hmm.
you know. So I think I really need to at first just to lift my head and look around. Just not look at the mud,
Hmm.
but more look at what is around me so that I can have
Hmm.
a wood to put my foot on it, you know?
Hmm.
Yes. If I look there from the client log perspective, I only see the mud, I think.
Hmm.
It's just so huge that I think this is, yes, it's not really easy to start with, you know.
Hmm.
So, and I think that's what I tried already, just to go back to my documentary, and it was really like mud, you know. I don't remember things, and this is just beating me up. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the wood that I'm looking at is to try to do something like just look how Google Form works so that I can contact some of my clients just to get their yes or no, to have their contacts. Yes, I think this just how Google Form works, and then just do perhaps a first client. I think this would already be something like wood, not looking from the client log perspective, but because the client log perspective is really the mud.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think I can get some enthusiasm about the form and the technology and how this can easily bring me in contact with my old clients. I think this would be more of a yes, lifting my head action. Just to yes, to get to know the Google form and just try it with one. Not one that is from 2020, but one perhaps from 2024. So I can start with this, with what is easy, for example. Yes.
Stephanie, I want to acknowledge you for the fact that you were able to find wood in that mud, and you are able to come up with one tool, Google Doc or Google Sheet, which you mentioned, which will help you in taking that one first step to get in touch with the
Mm-hmm.
client. So I just want to
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I also wanted to share one observation when you were really thinking about what's there. You were actually looking up and you were literally seeing what's there for me, right? So I want to appreciate you for that also, to go through that journey, being vulnerable and coming up with your own uh, thoughts. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, you mentioned that you like joy and motivation. So if we have to explore any other ways which will bring joy, motivation, as you look at, how do you uh, come up with your final log, right? What would those be?
I think I don't want to explore other ways. I would like to the way I am discovering. I would like to explore how I can fill this one with joy and motivation.
Mhm.
Yes, that's what I would like to explore. And so, what could bring myself joy? Yes, I think there is one person in special that I'm thinking about that I coached who I could contact and also ask for help or for some ideas. So I think this could be interesting to reconnect with this person,
Mhm.
to do it with this person first. What could also bring me joy? I like colors. I like drawing. Perhaps I could do something like a mind map just to figure out what could really be this this wood, this joyful wood, or this wood perhaps that's beautiful in my eyes,
Mhm.
you know? Because when I think about this person, it's okay, but it doesn't really bring me joy.
Mhm.
It's more of a, it's more of a head thing.
Mhm.
This person would be good because of, no, that's not bringing joy.
Mhm.
So what would bring me joy would be perhaps find a person I would really like to reconnect with
Mhm.
and tell the person, oh, you see, yes,
Mhm.
yes, there is another person I think I could think of more joy. But I would really like to do, yes, like a mind map, just figure out who could be some people from the last year I could contact, and then feel just in my heart which of these one could be the person I would really like to do, that there can be joy
Mhm.
and motivations. Because if I will contact the person for this will be a good possibility to talk with the person again, to yes, to reconnect, and that connecting really brings me joy. We yes. No, I'm touched now.
I see a smile on your face. Yeah,
Yes.
good. Anything else, Stephanie, that comes to your mind?
Um, no,
Mhm.
no, I think this is really what comes to my mind right now, really drawing something and just do a brainstorming and just, list all the people, but not in a list like that, but really in a mind map where I
Mhm.
can explore the space and different colors, and then just feel where my heart goes, so that I will have one first person. And I think this is even more powerful than the Google form, because if I have a person I can reconnect with, this will really bring me joy. Yes, yes.
So, Stephanie, I'm just doing a mid-conversation check-in. Are we making a progress, or what progress are we making towards the topic that we had set in the beginning of the conversation?
Um, Which progress we made for what I wanted. There is definitely progress because I was thinking more about the Google form than about what really would give me pleasure and joy. And I think connecting with a client, a person I coached before, it is what really would bring me joy. So there is definitely some progress, yes.
Thank you for sharing that, Stephanie. Uh, is there anything else that you would like to explore?
For the moment, I think that's all.
Okay. So, what are we learning, Stephanie, as we discussed? What are you learning about? What are you learning about yourself?
What I'm learning about myself. I think what I'm learning about myself is that I'm more visual than I thought, because I think the picture I had of just lifting my head from the mat was very powerful. So, and then, yes, just drawing this. So I recognize that I'm more visual than what I thought. And this is something I could explore furthermore, just to remind, okay, perhaps I can do something more visual, just to come forward a little bit, to make this more concrete than just thinking about something. Yes. That's what I'm learning about myself.
And how do you feel about it?
About the learning,
Yeah.
grateful.
So, Stephanie, just doing a quick checking. Um, is there anything else that you would like to think about that will help you in achieving the goal?
I think there is something, but I would not like to share it here.
Sure, not a problem. So, Stephanie, I just wanted to acknowledge the progress that you have made in the conversation, and also being vulnerable uh, in the conversation, and taking all of us through your journey. So I just wanted to say thank you for that and acknowledge for that. Uh, as we are at this point of conversation, how would you like to close the conversation, Stephanie?
I don't know. Any suggestions?
Do you need any support from me, or uh, how would you find support for yourself as you work on this topic?
As I know that I am here with plenty people who are in similar situations, if somebody has some good ideas or support for me, please feel free. I would like to have some ideas from the people who are in this space together with me.
Sure. And for the steps that we explored earlier, um, one being using Google Docs, and other being more so using mind and vision. So if we have to bring accountability to go through these steps, how that accountability will come to you?
I think I don't like accountability.
Hmm.
I think I prefer doing things by joy
Mhm.
than by accountability.
Mhm.
Yes. So, and I think I'm rather a person who holds herself strongly accountable. So, um, that's okay for me.
Okay.
I really need joy and pleasure and this connecting to something that I like, so that then I can really come forward in my rhythm, because the energy is not there just to, I have to, no. Yes.
Since you mentioned about energy, there was also a point in the beginning of the conversation that uh, you do not have energy, right? So when we look at these two steps, and basically also about reconnecting with the old clients, uh, does the energy come back to you thinking about these two steps?
The energy comes when I think about the colors and reconnecting with some person, and just energy comes with a certain openness to, yes, what will show up that will bring me joy.
Mhm.
Yes. Perhaps I will do the mind map and I will find something else that will bring me joy. But I think the real step is to be open and just try something like that, something colorful.
Mhm.
Yes.
So, Stephanie, we are about 35 minutes into the conversation. Uh, how would you like to uh, uh, close the conversation as we speak about the progress that we have made so far?
I would like to say thank you to you. And that I enjoyed the conversation and exploring all what is around it. and what is there for me. Yes, that's how I would like to close the conversation.
Thanks, Stephanie. I wish you really
Mm.
all the best. And I hope
Thank you.
and I hope you get joy and motivation as you go through your steps that we discussed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. So I will just jump back in and give you a minute for both of you to catch your breaths. Fantastic conversation. So thank you for both of you. One to Stephanie first to be the client. It's always a vulnerable space to be open. First of all, to coaching, and also to get coached in front of so many of us. So it's always something that adds an additional layer of, I can't say pressure, but I think it adds to some additional layers to that. And Madhuri, also fantastic job. Wonderful in your handling this conversation. I will come to some of those minor points that I observed, but I'd like to sort of check with you first. How are you feeling after coaching this session?
In fact, I did this coaching session for the points to get feedback from people. Yeah.
So you feel like, do you have anything you observed about yourself that, during the coaching call?
Of course. Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. Right. So I would open the
But thanks
floor.
to Stephanie. Stephanie, I wanted to say thank you to you for giving this opportunity. A tough topic for a beginner like me.
I think topics are meant to test you as a coach. I think if you get all the easy conversations as a coach, that's somehow setting you up for failure in terms of when it gets tough, it becomes really difficult because you've gone through some of the easier conversations in the first this thing and you expect the same. You get something interesting, and that's when it goes. Your confidence basically has will be put under the radar at that point. Good to have different conversations, different spaces, and I think yeah, you did a fantastic job. Good job with that. If you can let me know how many hours of coaching experience you already have, I can calibrate my feedback based on that.
20 hours,
20.
mostly at work here.
And you are learning to be a ACC or a PCC.
ACC.
Fantastic. Yeah, then I think you should be extremely proud of yourself in terms of how you handle this, especially at 20 hours. I will possibly pause until I give my observational sharing. Sindhu, Vrushali, Suresh, uh, Dr. Lindsay, Preeti, Sally, and Vivek. Any one of you wants to add your observations, and again, keep it to the observation as a coach and not about the coach. Yeah. So, any observations? Some of you I know came in a little later into the conversation. But Sindhu and Rushali, anything from you guys? All good. Okay. So I will then, I think, start with my conversation. So generally, if I have to now share, Madhuri, take it with a pinch of salt. Um, Second of all, I'm also addressing everybody who's listening in as a observer, and also possibly somebody who listens in as somebody observing the session for mentoring. Okay, it's not only about this session directly. There are some points I may go off tangent and come back. So this start was fantastic. I think really nice that Stephanie told you that you need to be a little slow, and you asked her, "Is this space good?" So again, good listening, and sticking to that listening. Um, this thank you for showing up to our session is almost, oh, fantastic. Thanks. I'm so happy that you showed up. I feel so good about myself, kind of a thing. Uh, I think a lot of us grow up as coaches with that saying thank you for showing up. It's almost as if acknowledging the client on their own journey to say, yeah, oh, great that you showed up, right? So it can be done, maybe like wonderful to see you again. It still makes the same impact. Uh, yeah, and I think in terms of the safe space, the notes, the discarding of it, the speed, everything was fantastic. Then you asked, what would you like to discuss? That's a fantastic opening statement. So she says, I'm not uh, regulated my clients from 2020, sorry, not registered my clients from 2020. So I am on my PCC. I want to go ahead. I just look at it. There's so many contacts. I want to reassure that everything is there on Excel. Uh, and that's what the client says. So you say, I understand that you have not maintained the log. It's so my point being the words, if you could have used whatever she said, reassure that everything is in there in Excel. Uh, that would have been a better thing saying, I understand, is almost as if you're trying to solve it for the client, saying, hey, you know what, that's great, but oh, I listen to you, kind of a thing. It's very subtle. At 20 hours, I would not really mind it at all. At an ACC level, it is okay. More so from how subtleties actually start impacting your coaching. Um, so, uh, so 4 years from now, he says, I haven't kept anything from last 4 years. Is that what you would like to explore today or explore in the session? So you're almost trying to fill the words into her mouth, saying, hey, this is what I
Mm,
want to explore, rather than saying, what is that you want to explore from
mm,
that? And that 4 years was something significant for the session. So
yeah.
if ideally from a PCC point of view, if somebody had done it, I said, hey, what about those 4 years? Because that was a shift. You are
Mm,
asking something and she says, no, I've not done it for 4 years. That's something that's telling more about the client than anything else. Um, so she says, yeah, well, I'm trying to look at what I can do to come forward in basically this place. And at the end, what would you like to walk away with? More clarity, joy, and motivation. So more is a very interesting thing. So as soon as most of the times you hear more, at least from an ACC point of view, ask from a scale point, where are they? What is more? Where are they? And what is more? So it allows you to do point A and point B definition very clearly. And from there, you say, hey, what happens at point B? So if you're now at 4, you want to get to 8. How do you feel at 8? What you do at 8? What's the challenge between 4 to 8? So that it sort of gets you into a easier channeling conversation. Uh, so I felt at times your eye contact was not constantly and consistently maintained because you
mhm,
are looking like this and making notes, or at least referring to notes.
mm,
I do this when I was doing the notes thing. I keep my pen here and I write here. So if I am now moving my shoulder, you're not
mm.
seeing anything moving here, and I'm
Okay.
only talking here. So I've kept it
Mm,
on the laptop. So I all I have to do is just move my eyes and I'm done. I
mm,
usually don't prefer that you keep your notes on the right side or the left side. Keep it at center.
mm,
So that'll help.
mm,
And I think because
mhm,
usually we will tell people not to take notes, or mostly from a point of view it distracts. But I took notes until 500, 600 hours. So it should not be a problem. But if you're losing eye contact, it becomes a little difficult because subtlety is sometimes you are losing out whatever the client is expressing from the face. That's the thing.
mm,
So hearing all this, what is the first step you want to take? What is so meaningful for you? So my
mm,
challenge is around the what is so meaningful. So rather, what is meaningful
mm,
for you?
mm, mm.
The so word is
Yeah,
can be
yeah,
skipped. Or what makes
yeah.
this meaningful to explore today? Or what is the meaning?
Mm,
What is important for you to take explore today? Is fantastic. So she says. So again, do things with joy and motivation. To some extent, the client kept coming back to joy and motivation. And I
Mm-hmm.
think Stephanie did mention that there is one emotion that I don't like, but I want to do this with joy.
Mm-hmm.
So, from a coaching point of view, the client says, I don't want to explore something, I want to do it this way. From a mentoring point, my
Mm-hmm.
preference is you follow, I want to do it this way rather than I don't want exploring, I don't want to like, or I don't like it kind of a thing. So, what is the preferable
Mm-hmm.
future or the acceptable future that they're trying to build? If you can focus the conversation back onto that track, move it forward rather than move it backward. So that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, so she says health is not the best. I am 55 years old. I am, sometimes not having all energies. I don't want to rush
Mm-hmm.
or I don't want to do it because I have to do it. And it should be that I did this, great. I want to cheer myself up. So then you could have asked, what's the need for cheering yourself up? What about your age that you find it relevant to this conversation? Uh, what is your definition of joy? I think you come to that quite deeper into the conversation.
Late.
So it could have come here. I have
Mm-hmm.
generally no complaints at 20 hours. If you're doing this at 20, I have no complaints. Uh, but more so from an observational point of view for others and for you at a later point of time. That's where I'm going into deeper details. Yeah. So can you bring it up? Saying you mentioned that you don't like it, which was that emotion? Would you like to explore that? So almost as if you are directing it, saying, I think as a coach that there is something there. So would you be open to explore that?
Mm-hmm.
And she says, no, I don't know
Mm-hmm.
whether I've said. Could be the client here
Mm-hmm.
does not, really comprehend or acknowledge that they've said that. Or if said that it's a subtle way to say, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Right? So one of those is a possibility. But what you're doing at that point of you're creating a distance between you and the client. Whatever that safety is there, slightly compromised by that question. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what are you feeling inside when you say you forgot about the log? Right. So she never said I forgot about the log. I've never registered it in my log. So
Mm-hmm.
here that's again based on difference
Mm-hmm.
in terms of what we're sharing, how we're sharing it. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And she says I'm disgusted. So not very proud of myself.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that's a past that I don't want to feel. And your next question is what brings that disgusting feeling to you? Slightly goes into a bit of a problem solving problem because you're trying to say, okay, this, going down the Alice in Wonderland kind of a thing. So, oh, this is there, oh, this is there, oh, this is there. You're almost trying to solve it for the client, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, rather saying, rather, can you say what makes you not feel disgusted? So, move them out of that place into the forward looking space. Because here her emotions were like I feel sad, and then there's a very like oh I feel sad, and then there's like not a laughter, but there's a very sad smile kind of a thing. I feel alone. I feel overwhelmed. How is it affecting you? Generally, average it out is a good question. But I think at that point it was getting deeper
Mm-hmm.
into that, and definitely was not comfortable for client at that point. I feel alone. It's something in my head. And it's more about and why I don't like it and I want to move forward. I feel continuously stuck. So that's what she says. And then I don't know if you're able to see me, hear me. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so you caught up on the metaphor of stuck, which is good. You caught up on the metaphor of stuck, that was good. Where are you stuck? Good questions. I am stuck in mud, and the whole aspect of why didn't you do it? And what will you make, or what will make you come out of this mud is a very knee-jerk reaction or a knee-jerk question to have as a coach, saying, I've just said something interesting, and then you've gone back and said, going for the kill and say, hey, what will you do it?
Mm-hmm.
So that exploration of that and that cooking of that particular conversation is not yet happened.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, the pickling is not yet happened. So you put everything in there, and 2 minutes later, you want to enjoy a pickle. No, it does not happen like that. So you're almost jumping to that saying, hey, now what will you do?
Mm.
Right. So if you could have asked, what does that mean for you? What is that awareness of saying you're stuck in mud?
Mm.
Where would you rather be is again still a space of moving them to another direction.
Mm.
So then she's like, I want to grab some wood, I want to walk on it, etc., etc. And then how will that walk happen? And look at the logical aspect. I haven't found wood yet,
Mm.
right? Yeah, clean language coaching. So that's something that's very interesting.
Mm.
So I haven't found wood. So you're telling me to walk on it, right? So it's almost a pipe dream for me. So you're not, as a coach, I am trying to help, and by trying to help, I'm not helping.
Mm.
So if you can just also, say stuck and say what is opposite of stuck? What does it feel to feel stuck, or what does it feel to get unstuck? Right. So, and then mostly focus on the forward moving movement side of it, than say too much on where I am present and too much on the past. Like
Mm.
we very easily slip into therapy territories, or going into the past territories. Yeah. So at the moment, I just see mud, and the mud is too big. I want to lift my head, look around, all that, and then a reflective pause. I think you maintained the pause consistently well. You never rushed the client. I think that would have been a good tick mark in my observational list. Mm. So I tried to start it. It's so huge. I want to think at something that's easy to start. I tried that, but I really, feel like everything is mud and it's eating me up. Right? I want to lift my head, take some action. There's a conversation on the Google Forms, not about 2020, go to 2024, talk to a friend, etc., etc. And that is actually when the opening up is happening. The layers are opening up. Uh, and then here, I think the acknowledgement part, which you say, I want, you found the word, etc. I also wanted to acknowledge when you wanted to look up, you looked up, kind of a thing. So I felt the acknowledgement, the way it was shared, it was almost like, oh, great, thanks for finding out the answer. It's like the kid trying a difficult mathematics problem and the teacher slash parent giving them a chocolate saying, oh, great, fantastic, good step. At least the way it came out looked like that, right? So uh, you're almost saying, "Oh, fantastic! That's the right way to go." It. I really like this. I'm very proud of you. What it sets up is if the client at somewhere down the line does not come up with a solution, the client is like, "I am now failing in the eyes of my coach," and
Mm.
that's a deeper possibility.
Mm.
So I would like to acknowledge that you have found an answer for what you are looking for. I would like to acknowledge the way you looked at the situation. So that is something you can sort of work on when you are acknowledging the client.
Mm.
And just because I'm looking up may not be a metaphorical lookup. So if I am recollecting something with a possibility, I'm looking up, or I'm
Mm.
reflecting, I'm looking up. It may not have always been a metaphorical lookup,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So Um, yeah, so I think joy comes up so strongly here. You could have again saying, how are you feeling? You said express joy, what are you feeling? Um, who else would you like to contact? Or what else would you like to do? So there's a lot of this what else that was happening. I think you'll also see that now later on in the conversation.
Mm.
He's almost saying, hey, I think there is more. I see more. Would you like to talk more about it? Kind of a energy coming into the coach, a push coming into the coach.
Mm.
So mind map, she talks. I love to connect, reconnect. This brings me joy. I see a smile on your face. What is that? If you could have done the what is that, you'd have taken it out of the ballpark.
Mm.
So what does it tell you about yourself? What are you feeling? What are you expressing? What are you thinking? So any physical expression, non-verbal communication, pause.
Mm.
And then say, yeah, good. But the observation you picked it up, so good. Right. So what happens is if I've talked and you're writing down notes, you don't know that I'm smiling. And before you put your head up, I've completely gone back.
Mm.
There's a very high possibility you lose something that is being shared.
Mm. Mm.
Uh, yeah. So she talks about brainstorming, just see where my heart goes. I want to reconnect. It brings me joy. Um,
My judge.
so once again. So yes, and so you say I want to do a midpoint check-in or a mid-conversation check-in. So I felt at this point somehow, Madhuri, you felt the conversation is over and you're like, I don't know how to close this kind of a thing. I felt that based on observations. I don't know if that is something you agree with. Right. So this is the midpoint check-in. Are we making progress? You don't tell it is the midpoint check-in. That's
Yeah.
the thing, right? So
That I think came from my conversation with ChatGPT, wherein I was sharing my transcript, and then ChatGPT showed me, hey, you could have done mid-session check-in. I was like,
yeah. So
that was not there in
some
the mind, but it just came as a recency thing.
yeah, no, I think true that I think yeah. So Vivek will love it that you use ChatGPT for your mentoring. But I will lose my job. So send it to a mentor so that you know what is actually
Yeah,
happening there.
yeah, yeah.
It is a good marker to hit that you are asking the midpoint check-in, right? But what ended up happening here is that it sort of jarred your conversation. It was going in a smooth flow,
Yeah.
and then you brought it up because somebody had said it as a marker, and then you see how it goes later. So two questions: are we making progress? What progress are we making? So either one question: are we making progress? Yes or no answer.
Yeah.
What progress do you see?
Corrected it.
A different question,
Hmm.
right? So
Hmm.
and the
That was
smile
the
was very
correction of, are we making progress?
yeah. So, and at
Yeah.
some point, I felt you tell the question a little long. The question goes very long, and client may
Yes,
not be
yes,
able to
yes.
concentrate on that length of the this thing. And if you
Yeah.
see the answer from Stephanie or the client was definitely progress, and you say anything else, and she says that's all,
Hmm.
and then she say what are we learning about whatever you said, blah blah blah, and then you repeat saying what are you learning about yourself. So that thing happened. You repeated that question twice.
Yeah.
And I felt this was where it was slightly
Yeah.
slipping away from,
That happened.
uh, yeah. So it felt like you
Yeah.
were slightly slipping away
I
from,
was distracted because my daughter came here running, banging on the door, crying, and I just lost my concentration. Okay, and I
yeah.
was like, oh my God, and I forgot about everything. Okay, and that's my mistake, I think. But I think I
I
just
guess it
lost it.
happens. Yeah,
Yeah.
it happens. It's normal things as coaches, right? So now my mom came in 2 minutes earlier and said, where's the charger? And she's trying to share dumpster at. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Right? So
May I say something?
yes,
Yes,
definitely.
please.
I think if you just had said, "Oh, sorry, I was distracted for a moment. Just give me a
Yeah.
moment to come back." I think this would have made me feel more comfortable, in
Yeah.
just trying to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah,
Yes, we
I
all
think
have these
beautiful.
moments. It's just if you just, I would have preferred.
I
That's a
think
learning for me.
beautiful, yeah. Beautiful, yeah. No, I think Stephanie, you brought a beautiful point. I think being open and vulnerable, saying, "Hey, I was distracted," is as much as a strength of the coach, rather than saying, "Hey, I think it's not a thing to do. We are human, and we are acknowledging that we are human." It brings us to equanimity with the client, and not say, "Coach is the God syndrome." Right? So that's not how it works. All of us do get distracted, right? So it is an acknowledgement, and I think it's more so how you do it rather than saying, "Hey, I was distracted, I didn't listen to you," kind of a thing. To say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I just couldn't listen to you, or I was not fully with you in this. Would you mind repeating it?" So that can definitely be done. It's not a negative at all. So so she says, "I'm more visual than I
Sure.
thought. How do you feel about it?" About and then she says about the learning, and then she says, "I'm very grateful." So the point I'm trying to make it is, if you talk about it, that this, make it very clear, saying what is this, what is that, what is it.
Mm.
So, what do you feel about you being a visual learner? Easier question. Client also
Mm.
knows that you're only asking about it because client's thoughts are running wildfire. Like it malo, what is it? So that's the thing you need to look at. Uh, so again, you asked, just doing a quick check-in, anything else? It's like here you're trying to be like, okay, all done. Thank you, Stephanie. Let's close this. Yeah. And then she's like, yeah, is there anything else you want to look at in
I
terms
did
of
not know how to close because I was like, okay, what do I ask?
Yeah, so you can ask, saying, is there anything else you want to explore? Do you feel that the exploration is complete for you in this session? Yes, close.
Yeah.
So that's it. So you as a coach and they both the client and the coach know that the energy of the coaching conversation has had its high, it's come to its low, and then it's like at that point way to close. So you can ask, saying, do you feel it's more complete for you? And then take it up. Right. So yeah. And she's like, yeah, there's something and I don't like to share that. I'd like to acknowledge your progress. Thank you, vulnerability, etc., etc. And how would you like to close the conversation? I think at some point, because if I am a client who does not know the coaching lingo, like how do you want to close the client? I don't know. So you
Mm.
see where that sort of a
Yeah.
it goes unsynced.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We've done hundreds of coaching conversations with
Mm.
peer coaches. Both of us know the lingo, saying, okay, what would you like to discuss? What's the end? How would you know you like get there? Blah, blah, blah stuff. So we've done that on almost on autopilot. But if the close, I don't know how I would like
Mm.
to close the client. I thought I'll close the laptop, I'll close the Zoom session. I don't know what's the answer for it, right? So you see how it suddenly puts a spanner in the wheel and how it makes the client
Yeah.
feel. And then she says, any suggestions?
Mm.
And then you open it up again, saying, it was almost like, two friends who at least this has used to happen in our engineering. That there were sometimes we used to say bye 9 or 10 times and still stay in the campus and meet the same set of people every 2 to 5 minutes. They're like, oh, you're still there. Oh, you're still there. That kind of a thing. So that I felt you were trying to close it and then opening it up again, trying to close it again, opening it up again. So if she says any suggestions, I'd say that possibly you could have ended it. I sense that the energy of the conversation has come to its end. What do you feel about it? Can we close the session and close the recording?
Mm.
You can take that up. It's not a
Yeah.
no-go kind of a thing. So yeah, any support from me. So first thing you asked is any
Yeah.
support from me. That means from me when I'm looking at it, it almost feels like I am the first point of support for you. And who else would you find support from? Right. So
Mm.
it, rather you could have somewhere even before any of this, after the learning, saying what support would you need to make that happen? What actions would you like to take? Apart from whatever you shared about the mind map, blah 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 stuff. So what actions would you like to stay accountable for? And then close.
Mm.
Any support, yeah. And then yeah, again, so again, what about the energy? So you're trying to almost close all points of the loop. What about the energy? What about this? Um, and then you say, oh, 35 minutes in, I'm done. I don't want to coach anymore. Let's close this. Right. So, uh, how do we close as we speak about progress, etc., etc.? Thank you. Exploring. Yeah. Acknowledgement exchange. And we closed.
Yeah.
So, from ACC at 20, I think you've done a fantastic job. From my mentoring, you don't get fantastic as easily as possible, but if I'm getting fantastic, you're on the right track. You did a fantastic job, no questions about it. You held space beautifully. Your speed was fantastic. The questions were smooth. Could have been phrased differently and shared differently, but I think they were still smooth. You didn't rush the client or yourself. And yeah, at this point of time in your journey, I think you're sorted. Then with these changes, you can actually make it better, not go into the past, concentrate on the future, scale questions, metaphors quicker, um, body language, taking notes, the way you acknowledge, yeah, and how you close. So typically, the easiest way to do a closure is at some point in the game, do the midpoint check-in. Don't tell them it's the midpoint check-in, saying, "Hey, we've been spending about quality time together. Uh, whatever. What do you feel about the progress that you're making?" Yes. Do not ask a question saying, "Are you making progress?" Because somehow either you are saying you are not making progress. I don't know if I am back.
I'm able to hear him just
I-
fine. Are you guys not able to hear him?
No,
Now,
yeah,
now he's
yeah.
Yeah,
talking.
Picture is there and we can.
yeah.
We can't
So
hear.
I am back now. I am hoping
Yes.
that some of you are able to catch. Yes. Okay, perfect. So my electricity just played its game. So it went and it came back in. I sort of forgot what I was sharing. So I will now ask how well you've listened so that you can let me know I can whatever I was sharing.
You're asking me?
Anyone. Yeah. Madhuri, you can also answer.
I think others can share. I think.
You you were talking about how to close the session.
How to close the session. Yeah, thank you so much. Fantastic. So midpoint check-in, you are saying what is the progress that we're making? No, don't ask them saying, are we making progress? Say either when it gives me you are not sure. Yeah, Stephanie, we'll close in another 5 minutes. So
Yes.
are you not sure? The second is you're also either telling them saying, hey, I don't think it is making progress. So it's not in the so what progress are you making? Or what do you feel about the conversation we've had? And then they said blah blah blah. Then what are you learning? What are you learning about yourself? What are you learning about the situation? Based on what you're learning, what is the actions that you would like to take? Uh, Based on the actions, what would help you keep accountable? What are support and services that you would like to you would like to use to get there? How would you like to celebrate your wins? How would you like to acknowledge yourself? Is there anything else you want to talk about? No, then fantastic. Thank you. We close the call. That's it. So I make it sound easy, but thanks, Stephanie. Thanks for stepping in. I know you have to step out. We catch up on the recording. Yes. So that's how I would say is the easiest bit to close. But I think you'll have to go with the client, go with the flow, see what works, how it works, when it works, and based on that, calibrate your conversation to all of us. All right. So, any questions before we can officially close? Any observations? Anything else? If any of you would like to add? Maybe whatever you learned in the session is also good.
Yeah, Sunil, yeah, thank you so much for that. That going back to the past. So we have this tendency of asking questions again, which will lead them again into the past. So that was something which I learned from you today. That let's always look for the forward questions, not the going back questions. Yeah, thank you for that. That was a reminder for me to make sure that my coaching questions do not.
Absolutely. There's a concept called what for quadrant? DOQ or dialogic quadrant by this lady called He Sen Moon. And she has written a book called The A to Z of Coaching or The A to Z of Coaching. I think that's a good book. I have been told by my master to read it. I haven't read it, but there are some people who read it and they tell me it is good. I like one of the things that I learned is from A to Z, there are concepts like alphabetically concepts that have been mapped that is essential to coaching, which I find it very interesting and very creative. I haven't read the book though, but it's only from other sources that I've gotten this. So that's a good thing to look at it. There's a four quadrant. So there's a next or a bad past, good future, bad future. Very like she has a different, this thing, but I'm sort of, however I remember it, I'm just telling it with you. So the client wants to be in the good past and the good future, not on any of the other two quadrants. So one side there is a lot of hurt, anger, other emotions. There's another side, there's overwhelm, fear, etc., etc. So that's something you need to be aware of. Yeah. And yes, Dr. Lindsay.
Sunil, I have one question. Here, the client asked any suggestions in the end.
Mm.
When the coach said, "How do you want to take it forward?" Client asked any suggestions. So in such situations, as a coach, how do we navigate without giving suggestions from our side?
I think at this point of time, in this conversation, it had come to a point where I think both of them didn't know what to close with, right? So the
Mm.
client did not understand. Maybe in terms of culture, could have been a spacing. That's not how they close it in terms of conversation she's had before with other coaches.
Okay.
But ideally, typically, if anyone says, "Hey, Sunil, what's your opinion on whatever I'm sharing?"
Right.
or any suggestions to whatever I do. So, what do you feel about that?
Okay.
Or I play with the clients beautifully, saying, "Hey, what do you think I will tell you?"
Mm.
And they're already disarmed and say, like, Sunil, I know you're playing with me now. So they understand there's a coaching requirement not to share. And I think by now it's gotten drilled into them that I will not share whatever happens.
Mm, mm, mm.
They are like, huh, okay, what would you suggest yourself to do? So any other options that puts it back to them as a reflection is what I would, I would channel into that.
Okay.
But
Thanks.
it's easier said than done because you may or may not remember it while in that session, while in that place. But you know that you as a coach, by definition, should not suggest.
Right. Right.
Right. Again, there are some places where some of the conversations I've heard from like really experienced coaches is that if there are some places the client is stuck and nothing is moving, you could offer an opinion saying, "Hey, in a similar situation, I know somebody who did something like this. I don't know if that becomes a thinking point for you. What do you think about it?" But then
Okay.
that's again, it's not your default.
Ah,
It's only under extreme changes or extreme conditions.
sure. You're still giving the choice.
You are giving the choice, and you're also um, how do I say, not suggesting with intensity, saying, "Hey, this is the only thing that you need to do."
Right.
So the attachment bit, so you share without attachment.
Mm.
From a competency model point of view, that's the wordings that they use. That as long as you're sharing without attachment, you're good.
Sure.
So the client can disrepute it, go with it, etc., etc.
Mm.
Yes. So any other observations? Yeah, and I can also share observations on how well I mentored. Also, I don't mind. I really like compliments.
Mhm.
Yes, I hope this is useful for you. Ivy, you've just joined in almost at the end of our conversations. So you may also find it useful to catch up on the recording.
Thank you.
Awesome. So if there's nothing else from Suresh, Preeti, Vishali, Vivek, and Sally, we can close the call.
I'm good.
All right. Thank you so much. And Sally, are you already part of the tribe of coaches? If not, just drop me a text message. We will be